don't know about you, but we obviously, if you haven't caught the hint, try to keep like a dark house-ish. Um, I mean, I like the daylight, but my husband doesn't necessarily. So I try, and it does help keep the climate nice inside the house. So this is why you get some funky lighting. It's not what I came on here to say, though. So I think things are going a little bit better on this sock. I did decide to cast this on, late last night because we have racing today, and we're actually going to be leaving here soon. And this is like, we're going pretty early. It's still the morning right now. Yeah. Anyway, so the first few rounds is brutal, especially on these freaking toothpicks. And I'm telling you, I put on my stories, knitting on toothpicks is scary, is spooky. Like, it's all spooky Sockathon. And as I am, like, I have no business really casting this on right now with all the things I should be doing, but I wanted to make sure that I participated in some way during this event. And then also, I guess, I don't know if I've even said the event, but it's Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy's Spooky Sockathon. So I was going to use that as an encouragement to try socks again. And I decided I'm going to make Mackenzie of Hanks and Needles, I believe, floret socks, and they have cables and lace. Like, I'm going real difficult here. I haven't really made like pattern socks. I've only really made like simple basic ones. Well, I've crocheted pattern socks, but knitting wise, that's why I was trying. I've already had all the tools, and this is why I was thinking this would be a great event for me to try, because I won this yarn before, and it's just one single skein, and it seems like it would be something that's meant for socks. I thought that it was self-striping till I'm actually working it up. You can't tell here, I'll have to show later, but it's like multicolor, and I think it's gonna be really freaking cute though. I don't know if it's really gonna show the design though. That's the thing. Is it worth going through all the trouble of making this design when you're not even gonna really be able to see it? I'm doing it anyway. But yeah, so I got the 9-inch circulars, and then I got this little sock ruler thing. I feel like if you get all the tools, maybe it gets you more excited to make the thing. So here we are. The first few rounds I wanted to dye, and now it seems like it's getting a bit easier. Like the stitches are flowing around the 9-inch circulars a little bit better. And maybe my hand is getting a little bit more used to working with these tiny little things. And I chose a skull stitch marker, and then I chose like a little bell, because I felt like it went with the spooky-ish. I mean, the bell maybe not, but the bell is like one of the tiniest stitch markers that I have, and I thought, why not use a tiny stitch marker while I can with my seriously tiny needles. I'm using US Zeros, 2 millimeters. You're not getting me gauge swatching either. Like, is that even gonna fit my foot? I don't know. I decided I'm making size 2. You're supposed to do like negative ease with a sock, and maybe that's why other socks, I don't find like knitted socks to be that great, because the ones that I made, I didn't necessarily focus on like a negative ease, I think. So we'll see how this goes. This pattern is labeled as an intermediate pattern. Am I good enough to be doing intermediate? And I don't intend on bringing a cable needle with me. If worse comes to worse, I guess I'll have to use a stitch marker as one, or a tapestry needle or something. I'll figure it out. How am I gonna make 2 of these is what I'm really wondering. We are at the track. This is supposed to be the last race ever at this track. It will be demolished and become a FedEx and some other housing stuff. It's been open for like 50 years, so hopefully we'll make history and win tonight. Anyway, back to the socks. I think I already made a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking on trying to do an intermediate pattern and 9-inch circulars. I don't know. I feel like some striping is happening though, so that's pretty exciting. And I don't know if these are gonna fit. I hadn't even checked how my gauge is. I don't know what else to say. How am I going to make a second pair is still how I feel. I meant a second one in general so that I do have a matching pair. There's a plane up there. I just quickly measured and I think I'll be okay. I feel like I'm close to gauge. Not only did I end up losing my cute little bell stitch marker, but I dropped stitches in the pattern side. This ain't happening. But honestly, I feel like this yarn doesn't really work well with a pattern sock. It doesn't let it really shine. So I do feel like this yarn is meant to go for like a vanilla sock. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. And I don't mind once I get in the flow of the 9-inch circulars. I think I'd be okay with making socks with that. I feel like I want to learn an afterthought heel and just like do stockinette for days and just cut in. Will I risk that as a technique that I learn? There's a lot of racing going on in the background. It is so dark in my house and it is a very overcast day, so I thought I'd come out so that I can really show you a bit of what I've done. I ended up frogging. Do you like it? Approved? I ended up frogging all that I had worked on this morning, and started a new pair of socks. So this is semi-vanilla-ish, I think, because it's a shorty, and I basically filtered my library on Ravelry to show me all the socks that I have. I have quite a bit of sock patterns. I don't know why, like, I'm gonna make these things, and most of them are difficult, and most of them are not very vanilla-y. This is supposed to be like a double brim thing, and I did see that someone in their projects page had done like a provisional cast on. I'm like, yes, with these tiny needles, I don't want to have to be stabbing through the cast on like stitches and then trying to pull up a loop when I already know it's a struggle to even do like SSKs or knit 2 togethers. So I went ahead and I did a provisional cast on with a crochet hook. Super freaking easy. I've done them before, but I did have to like refresh my memory again. So I've got about like 5 more rounds before I'm going to double brim it, basically. But the yarn is self-striping. Look at that. I'm doing 64 stitches. So the last one seemed to be that's what I was doing. This pattern says like, it has like a small, medium, large, and the medium size is supposed to be for like 8-inch circumference, I guess, like foot circumference. And so I think that's what would work for me. And like still getting somewhat negative ease. But yeah, I thought that I was close to like working up all the yarn that I frogged. I still have like this much. So I guess I am fairly close. I can now see myself being able to finish a matching pair doing this. And if they're comfortable socks, this might be my new go-to pair. I don't know what the heel is going to be like. We'll see. Also, in case you're curious, the pattern is called Slight by Lisa Much. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. Sorry if I butchered it. Anyway, I also am thinking that I need thimbles to be able to work these tiny pointy needles. I'm really stabbing the crap out of my fingers. The excitement and pride I have for this baby. I might need to collect self-striping yarn now. I had to come out and take a picture. So the heel is a heel flap and gusset, heel flap, heel turn, and gusset. I think that's normal. I should have cleaned my camera. There you go. You got cleaned a little bit by a sock. No, there ain't no helping this look. It's amazing though, the sock. We came to the races, but we haven't been able to do any racing because wetness. Anyway, I started another sock thinking, you know, I could just get to knitting. I couldn't bring any of the other projects I have going on right now. They require a lot of focus and like note taking and counting and everything else. So I thought, perfect opportunity. I decided to go, I think I'm doing like 72 stitches versus the 64 that I did before. And I had tried on the sock, but I don't feel like it's much better. But I also don't have sock blockers. So I don't know if I like need to have like that extra stretch to it as it's drying. Whatever. If this works, I'll make a second pair. I didn't frog the other pair just in case, like maybe I'll find that one worked better and then I can just add more length to it, and maybe with wear it'll get more comfortable, and then I can actually get sock blockers and be profesh over here. But I just finished adding from my provisional cast on to continue knitting, so it's double brimmed now. It's a little tedious to do, and I realized too that I really need another 9-inch circular. I think I could use 2 more. 1 so that I can make 2 socks at the same time, and 2 so that when I do the double brimming I can just feed that through there instead of like unpicking each stitch and picking up at the same time and having this fear that I'm going to drop a stitch. With it being stockinette, I don't stress as much about dropping a stitch. I feel like I have a better chance of fixing it than like the lace that I was doing before. but I feel like basic vanilla socks with striping is just the thing that's going to bring me the most joy. Me collecting all these patterns that are so beautiful is another hobby. Obviously, I'm back home and I completed my sock. There were a couple things I wanted to say. So you all know how I was talking about not dropping stitches and stuff. Yeah, I dropped one not long right after that, and it was on like an edge stitch of the flap. When I went to I don't know, I went to count for some reason, and I was missing one, and I was like, how did that happen? I know it was just there. And sure enough, yeah, so I had to go, I picked it up down, and like, I think some of it got mixed up between, like, you have to slip the first stitches. A train's going by. I don't even know if you'll be able to hear that, but it ended up working out, because when I have to come down here for the gusset to pick them all up, and so I can count and divvy it up appropriately, and it really doesn't look like weird. I'm pretty sure it's this side. It's okay. Like, this side looks cleaner, right? I will say, okay, this is my boo-boo sock, and this is like the perfect sock. I'm so happy to find my recipe. So I didn't use like a stitch marker to mark like my instep. So if you've never done a sock, maybe you want to know some of the anatomy of it actually. So obviously this is the heel, this is the toe, this is the cuff, that's all a dough, right? So, but on this particular one, when I say that for the heel, I did a heel, flap, turn, and gusset. This is the heel flap. And then this part is the heel turn. And then this part is like the gusset. And then this is the instep. This part is the instep. And so this time around, I marked not only the beginning of the round with a marker, but I also marked like that section of the instep section. So and I kept going on it for the duration of the body of the sock, because when you come to the toe, you also have to do like decreasing of the toe and know where the instep is. And I did feel like my toe got crooked on this one, but also when I went to split the stitches, I split them so that the Kitchener would show, and the Kitchener grafting would show this way, because whenever like the beginning of the round moves to the heel, so I would end right here. So I just like stitched to the next and then slipped them, which to me it evened out, because you had to go stitching to half of the heel to get to move the beginning of the round marker. So I felt like then it technically evened it to go to the end here, if that makes any sense. If you make this pattern, you'll know. I love to see it like that, and just, it folds so pretty. I already casted on the buddy of it, but I definitely didn't frog this because I wanted to show you. So you can't really see. So maybe I should turn the camera, but see my decreases or increases, whatever, or decreases, yeah, here, and they're on both sides. See how mine they're off here. And I just was like trying to like guess and kind of look at my stitches a little bit where it was. But yeah, You definitely, this is just such a snug fit. This is a very comfy fit. Haven't even blocked it yet, but I think I want to get sock blockers before then. So it's not very different. It's not that different. But yeah, I haven't frogged this yet. I just felt like I was going to start with the skein that I was working with, but I'll probably just make a second pair. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to use like both of the pairs myself, but maybe I will. Maybe because it's a memory and they're my first socks. I definitely can see why people enjoy collecting self-striping yarn now. I definitely also see myself making a full-on set, and like I said, even more sets, which is so shocking. Am I gonna be a sock maker now? Like, this self-striping is just complete magic, and now I want to collect all the self-striping yarn. I feel like it's something that's nice to like make, that's portable, and then also you know, affordable too, because like you can make so much out of one skein, especially if you're making a shorty. I really like shorty socks, and I'm not gonna lie, like these are just like regular socks, and I don't have that many shorties, and I did realize that I need some, so maybe this is just gonna help me. And now I also have a little bit of FOMO from not like shopping mustache yarn at DFW Fiberfest, because they had like these bins of these crazy deals on yarns. So now I'll be prepared for next year. I'm excited. I feel like now this could be something that I would definitely be okay with, like when I go to festivals or events and collecting like a souvenir yarn. Because I find that it's hard for me to get yarns with no idea in mind, because like how much yardage do you really need? And then it just sits in my stash and like I feel guilty about it. So with this, I know I can make a sock out of one skein, like one hank, and have plenty left too. But self-striping is where it's at. There's just a magic. I get it now. And I don't know if I'll ever get into like the cabling and the detailed patterns of sock patterns. I kind of like the concept of like a vanilla. This is a little bit more, I feel like, than a vanilla. Like, I also would love to learn like a afterthought heel. I've done the fish lips kiss heel. I will say the fit is pretty magical on that, but I find it satisfying to actually make the heel flap turn and the gusset. It is a bit of sorcery, and also it's a little bit easier, like, because I can stitch to the rows that it says and pick up and then just go around and keep on stitching. And yeah, I mean, I also feel like the double cuff makes it a bit more professional here. So I don't have, like, I've done toe up before. I took a course that was 2 at a time toe up, and it was lovely, but I just can't do like the magic loop thing. It doesn't work for me. My ladders show. So it is nice, I feel like, to work toe up. But then also I feel like my bind offs can end up looking sloppy, and you kind of have to do a loose bind off for your ankle to get through here. But this cuff being double brim, I just love everything double brim. Yeah. Now I feel like I need to get some clear shoes to sport my socks.
Are you proud of my socks? Are you proud of my socks? I have 2 finished socks, guys. Unreal. A pair of socks. A pair of socks. Ooh, and these are lucky socks because the Rangers won the World Series while I worked on them. Ah, I'm so excited. Baby girl, we're so excited.
I just weighed the remainder that I have left over. That includes the other sock that I boo-booed on. I did frog it. It's in the middle of this. And I'm at 59 grams. So the verdict is in. I can make another set. Another full set. Because this is a 100-gram Hank skein ball. Was. 59 grams. Should do. I'm glad it's done. I was kind of tired of like continually stabbing myself, so yay. I have not woven the ends. I'm going to a festival like next weekend, so I'm hoping maybe I can finally get my sock blockers, but I'm definitely wearing these without blocking like this weekend proudly as I hang out with a friend who I actually met while taking a knit two at a time sock class. Clearly I didn't enjoy that class. She kicked it off and been making socks like forever since then, but I have got to show her my socks now. So I'm gonna wear them some evening with her and probably take my final photos like that, and that's that. Thanks for going on this journey with me. Maybe you'll feel inspired to make a sock also. Totes recommend this pattern.